Welcome there everyone. So this is the Runcam Split3 Lite, and this can be found on the Mobila 6 and 7 HD, and this one uses an onboard DVR where you put the SD card in the SD card slot and records at 1080p. So most of us flying analog quads who wants HD quality video, we use this HD DVR to actually put on our micros and whoops to get that HD quality video. So one thing about this Split3 Lite is that after some time the camera tends to lose its sharpness quality and tends to be a bit blurry after prolonged use. And so the best solution to this is to replace the camera. I did try to replace the lens, but the lens is glued on to the camera really well, and upon trying to remove the lens, you will most definitely damage the camera. So the best option and solution to this is to replace the whole camera itself. Now, to replace the camera, you actually have to remove this MIPI cable, and to do this you have to remove the epoxy that's like placed onto the back of the camera right here. And this portion, what you're gonna do is you're gonna use an X-Acto knife or a box cutter and try to remove as much of that epoxy as possible. Alright, so we're gonna use an X-Acto knife here, and I'm gonna try to scrape out as much of the epoxy as I can. Now before you do this, just be sure to be very careful on not going too hard, because what you're gonna do is you're gonna accidentally either cut the MIPI cable or maybe damage a capacitor that's quite near the cable connector itself. And also please be careful with your fingers, just as long as you don't damage the capacitors and that ribbon cable. Right, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna just make slow cuts little by little onto the edge of the cable connector here. I'm gonna cut and scrape and just remove as much of this epoxy as I can, and eventually you'll be able to just pop the cable connector off with just a little bit of strength. It will just come off, and there we go. So once the cable connector is off, just replace your camera and put the cable back on, exact same way you took it off. Do note that you might want to add a little bit of glue, just a tiny bit, just to make sure that the cable connector is secure onto the camera and fit everything back into your micro or your tiny whoop. Right, so there we have it. This is to replace the Runcam Split3 Lite camera. And that's it for today's video. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop in on the comments or join my Discord. So thank you all for watching, and see you guys again soon. Ciao.